Hi, so today we're going to be going over another MacBook motherboard that's not turning on. I want to apologize for the fact that the audio is absolute garbage in some of the past videos. I was experimenting around with the microphones. I tried the cardioid microphone that, as I said in my last video, oh my god, I mean, I love DPA. I love DPA more than anything on earth when it comes to audio. But the D-Fine 88, like the way that that thing is put together, like with that mic, this thing moves around constantly. And you can see I can move my head around like this and the microphone is never going to move. Actually, it moved a little bit because the wire is too short. I made the wire on this headset is a little too short because it kept breaking it. But look, I can do this and the sound of the microphone is not going to change, which is great. That one, and also you notice this thing is not moving back and forth as I'm moving my head because it's a very, very, very sturdy headset. This thing is like a coat hanger. Whereas the D-Fine 88, like I do this, it moves out of place. I do this, and you can actually see it in the camera. Well, I mean, if I wore it on the other side of my face, you'd have been able to see in the camera. It just moves constantly. It drives me nuts. Anyway, so I was screwing around with the audio level since I was using a different microphone. I didn't reset it back, and every time I had an S in my voice, it clipped. Sorry about that. Anyway, so today we're going to be moving on to an 820-3476. I'm going to be back to my old, faithful DPA 4065 microphone. I'm sorry, microphone. I will never cheat on you again with another. And this one is not turning on, so let's just get it under the microscope and try to get an idea of why it's dead. Now, as with most MacBook motherboards, this one is probably liquid damaged. And my microscope camera is in black and white. Beautiful. And we're back, and as you can see, we have a nice color image here. I really do have to get around to buying a proper dual HDMI capture card. I saw one that I really like, and it's $1,800, and I don't know if it works with Open Broadcaster. That's the thing. Do I want something that's really nice? Yes. Will I totally just continue rebooting my computer every time this dual card setup does something stupid? Rather than pay that much money? Yes. Yeah. So, as Sean McNamara said in the comments of one of my previous videos, I need everybody to be very, very quiet. I'm hunting liquid damage. Be very, very quiet. Because we don't want to scare it away. So let's see if it's under any of the RAM. Nope. Let's see if it's under the CPU. Nope. Let's see if it's around the SSD. Nothing there. No liquid. Be very quiet or else it'll run away. Liquid damage likes to hide. It hides behind the owner that will never tell the truth about liquid. But I'm pretty sure this has liquid. Because the owner actually told me the truth that there was liquid. Huh? Psst, psst. Check it out, check it out, check it out. We got some liquid right here. Alright, now we're gonna continue. We got more liquid right here. So see this? This over here. Psst. Even though there's no component supposed to be here, I know that whatever is going to this pad may have had liquid. So it's gonna be... This is the backlight circuit. This is Thunderbolt circuit. Shh. Don't say a word. I think we're coming up on what it is. And this is the clock circuit right here. The clock circuit is what's going to allow the CPU and the BCH to put out the signals required to turn the machine on. It's going to tell it to start working. But if there's no clock, nothing will work. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do here, while we're hunting our liquid damage, is see what it is that's going on. So I know what areas are affected. So now what we're going to do is check out what voltages are present. So if you would like to go to page 63 or so of your schematic for the 820-3476, you'll be able to follow along with me. So I'm going to check if PP bus G3 hot is present. Anybody want to send me a transparent microscope? 12.5, that's good. PP3V42. is there because I have a light in the charger. Alright, so let's check out the rest of the rails. Let's check out PPVRTC underscore G3 hot, which is going to be right by that corroded little chip area. And it's there. Now we're going to check out the rest of the rails. But we don't want to be too loud. We don't want to let the liquid damage know that we're here. Shh. We're hunting liquid damage. Don't want it to get away. So let's check PP5VS5. That's another power rail. That's right by our liquid damaged area. And somebody walked in, so... And back to work. So, we are going to see if PP5VS5 is present. Alright, PP5VS5 is going to be over here. And my multimeter says 5 volts, but you can't see that. Five. Alright. Now we're going to see if PP5VS4 is present. That's the next rail on our list. And PP5VS4 is... I really want a transparent microscope. Man, somebody make a transparent microscope so that... PP5VS4 is missing. PP5VS4 is going to be missing because PM Sleep S4L is missing, right? That's the way this always works, isn't it? PM Sleep S4L is what enables that rail. Of course, it's PM Sleep S4L. It's always PM Sleep S4L. I hate that signal. That is the most annoying one to be missing. It's the biggest nightmare rabbit hole. All right, let's just go over what I did here. So what I do is I measure every single rail. So there's different power rails on the machine. There's a 12.6 volt line. Ignore where Apple says 8.6. They don't know how to write their own schematic. I measure PP3V42, PPVRTCG3 hot, PP5ES5, and I finally get to PP5ES4, which is missing. And the reason that PP5ES4 is always missing 99.9999999% of the times that it is missing because of a missing PM Sleep S4L signal. And here we go. So this is the chip that creates it. If you don't know what's going on here, watch my video on what a buck converter is, and you'll understand what this is. I know this entire thing looks really, really confusing. It's simpler than it looks, and if you watch my video on what a buck converter is, I promise you it will make sense. Now, this is PP5ES4 output. Now, when you zoom in on the left side of this chip where PP5ES4 is being created, you have EN1. EN1 is telling this chip, turn on this thingy. So this thingy's job, what this thing is going to do is it's going to take 12.6 volts and turn it into 5 volts. But in order to do that, EN1 has to be there. You have to tell it to turn on. And if you don't know what that, why that pin does what it does, you can simply Google the model number of the chip right over here, and it will tell you. So we follow back where EN1 comes from, and EN1 comes from PM Sleep S4L, and PM Sleep S4L comes from the CPU /PCH, which is the same chip in this model. Lame. It can be anything. Now, we're going to go and focus on the things that actually make sense. And we're going to... Alright, so if we look at the areas that look nasty, we have this one, Thunderbolt. Who cares? We have this area, which is designed to create PP5V-S4, but again, I can't blame this because PM Sleep S4L is not even present. If PM Sleep S4L is not present, then how can I blame this chip for not doing its job? It's not going to do its job. If the signal is not present, it's going to tell it to turn on. And PM Sleep S4L is not shorted to ground or anything like that. This doesn't look very good, but again, this is for a different rail. But over here, clock chip. Look at that capacitor. Look at that capacitor. Look at that gross, nasty, liquid damage capacitor. I think I have found what I want. And that's again for Thunderbolt. Who cares? Now the pins that look nasty are the ones up here. By the way, when I say I don't care about Thunderbolt, I mean in the context of this, I don't care about Thunderbolt because it doesn't even turn on. Why should I care about whether a Thunderbolt port is a Thunderbolt circuit looks nasty when it doesn't turn on? Now, if the Thunderbolt circuit was shorting one of my main power rails to grounds, all right, okay, cool, then we can have a conversation about it, but it's not, so it really doesn't make any sense. So, what I think we should do here is we should probably replace the clock chip, because that's the area that has the corrosion. And by the way, if you look at the board view software, some of the pins that have corrosion over here are the pins that are required for the clock. PCH clock 32K RTC X1 is on pin 12. And when we look on the board over here, you'll see that the corrosion is right over here. And that's not good. It's going to screw up everything that we're working towards. Let's just turn on the hot air, get a board, and get started. Ugh. I've heard it said that it doesn't make sense to be your own boss if you're you know, you're working too hard or you're not making as much money as you could elsewhere. You know, that this is the only part of the world where people will spend 80 hours a week working so that they don't have to work 40 for somebody else when it comes to entrepreneurship. But I have to say, my job of hunting my job of hunting water damage, I must say, it comes with some freedom. It comes with some freedom that you don't get at a lot of other jobs. And it may not be a job that's going to be around forever. Shit, it may not even be a job that's around a year or two from now. But as long as it's around, I will be a happy camper. Ooh. Yikes. You see what I see? Do you see this? Oh my. And that's in the PP3V42 pin. That's the pin powering this chip. Oh, that's no good. That is no good, my friends. That is bad. That's bad, 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 bad. Because if there was ripple on the PP3V42 line, this is what I want you to think about. If we had ripple on the PP3V42 line, that means that PPVRTC, or the clock signal, could have went from being, you know, a 3-volt thing to a 16-volt thing. Because PP3V42 is powered off the battery at 12.56 volts, or the charger at 16, 18 volts. Oh man, that would not be good. Because that could mean that our CPU could be dead. That's not good. That's not good at all, man. That is not good. Anyway, let's... We're just going to keep hunting liquid damage. And what I like about this HAKKO FM 2027 iron with the T15 JSO2 tip, watch. See, I was able to use the elbow of the iron to do my wicking, so I didn't have to change the tip. The whole thing about efficiency is not having to change the tip. I was able to use this, the nice elbow portion, to do the wicking. But now when I want accuracy, I can use that fine, fine tip to solder individual pads. But I suck at soldering individual pads, so... yeah. Check that out. This is how you hunt liquid damage. Alrighty. See how we took a pad that looked like it was ruined? We restored it. A little bit of scraping. Just a little bit of scraping. Why am I trying to do each pad one by one? I never do that. It comes out so much better when I don't try to do it that way. Okay. Now we might as well remove that nasty looking capacitor on the top, because we don't want to keep that there. If you're going to hunt liquid damage, you better hunt it completely. Better remove every last little trace of that garbage. Don't let any of it stay on the board. I really do got to buy more of this clock IC. I'm using it very often. What I do is anything that I'm using, anything I've used more than 3 or 5 times off of a donor, I just buy a spool of. Okay. That chip just flew away. And I accidentally wicked some of the pads that I blew. Okay. Now, let's remove it from the donor. Now that capacitor is going to flow itself into place just fine when I flow the RTC chip into place. Not a great day for my soldering, but all right, everything should be all flowed in. So now we can do a little bit of preliminary testing. Let's see if we've made any progress. It's back for now. Yes, it's spinning. Woo. It is spinning. Thank you for coming back for another episode of Component Level Board Repair. With that, as always, I hope you learned something. I'm going to answer the phone, and have a good day.